Go back a little bit. All right, I'm live on Facebook and on Instagram. So I wanted to hop in here today for a little surprise class and talk about stress. Now, this is something that I have realized over the years plays such a pivotal role in our health and well-being, as I've kind of been my own health journey and just talking to other people and just hearing others say, I'm having these symptoms and they can't find anything wrong with me. Lots of times, I would say most of the time, that means that you are under some type of stress and you don't realize how big of an impact that can have on your health. So I wanted to come in here today and hopefully I can do this justice. Try to give you a little bit of scientific information that was shared in an amazing video that I watched recently on what happens on our body on a cellular level when we are under stress. So I'm going to kind of go through that, give you sort of a very abbreviated Cliff Notes version and point you to the original video if you want to go watch that. And then I'm going to give you some practical ways that you can try to combat stress in your everyday life, because we all have stressful situations and things come up in our lives. So it's something that we just need to think more about and really be more intentional about it. So I want to go over some of the information Dr. Bruce Lipman shared in an amazing video that I watched a couple of weeks ago. I forgot who shared it, but it was awesome. So if you are on Facebook, it is down a little bit on my profile. And if you are on Instagram, you're just going to need to go search. So go to Google and search Dr. Bruce Lipton stress, and it should come up on there. It's about 10 minutes. But I want to just give you an overview because really knowing the importance of it, I can't leave this part out. So what he talked about was how stress affects you on a cellular level. And he first started out talking about it on a cells, like in a petri dish way, and then he also talked about it more in depth on what actually happens in your body. So we started out talking about how when they put two groups of the same cells in petri dishes and they put health, wellness, growth type medium in one and then toxins in another, it was interesting to see how the cells moved toward the positive, the growth, the good things that they put in there, and how they moved away from the toxic things that they put in the petri dish. So it's kind of the same thing that happens when we put those in our body, and that's what he was trying to equate it to. And basically, we cannot be in growth and protection at the same time. So when we're in growth, our cells are moving toward, and when we're in protection, it's something toxic, our cells are moving away. So you can't be in growth and protection at the same time. So that was something he talked about a lot, and he wanted to set it up well with the cell connotation. So, when you're under stress, your mind perceives its environment all the time, really, not even under stress, just all the time. And your hypothalamus is sort of the center that kind of sends all the signals out. And then when it perceives something stressful, it sends a signal to the pituitary gland, which then sends a signal to your cells. And that is going to produce a certain hormone. You've heard of cortisol, it's the stress hormone. That is how it's actually secreted in your body. It's something that your mind perceives, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit, how it's really a lot about mindset. But, that's a physical thing that happens when you're under stress. And we've all heard of fight or flight. That's why that the adrenaline and all those hormones are released, because, your body, it's telling it, okay, I need to be in flight. I need to run away. There's a perceived threat there. So when that happens, the blood flow goes from being in your viscera, which is your tissues and all spread out through your body. It actually goes to your limbs because you need to run away, right? If you're in fight or flight. And so the big deal with this is your viscera, when the cells are in your viscera, that is where all the growth happens and the maintenance and your immunity. All of your cells are kind of maintaining their function and always replacing their cells. You're kind of in growth that way. But when you're in the fight or flight and you're in that stressful situation, your body's trying to survive. So that's why it sends the cells to your legs and to your arms. So when you're in protection, which is fight or flight, you're not in growth. You shut that off. Remember, you can't be in both. So that's really important to think if you're under stressful situations all the time, your body's just trying to survive. So you can't be in that growth state, which is the maintenance and which is the wellness and which is like regenerating all those cells that need to be replaced. You can't do that when you're in that stressful situation. So, and two, when you think about your cells need to be replaced, you might not understand why. I mean, our cells die every single day. Billions of cells die every day. Your gut lining needs to be replaced every 3 days. So if you're not in growth mode and you're always in stress mode, protection mode, you're not going to be able to maintain your health that way. So one more thing is that when you're in fight or flight, your body tends to shut down all the other things that are sort of maintenance and that kind of keep you healthy because it's trying to survive. So he gave a really good analogy as to where, like, if you're sick and you have some sort of illness or infection, and you might have a symptom from that, like say you have diarrhea, that's the symptom he gave. But you're also being chased by a lion. Like which one do you think your body is going to be responding to first? Like you're going to run, you're going to go in that fight or flight, and you're not going to be necessarily worried about those symptoms. So that's why your immunity shuts down, is because your body is telling itself, I need to be in this peak, this on point form, because they're in fight or flight. So that's why all those things shut down. And your immunity is the biggest one that takes a hit when you have stress, because again, it's shutting down. All your blood flow is going to your limbs because of that reason, because of the fight or flight. So that's really important. And he also just made the point of we're all basically infected with bacteria and diseases and parasites and germs. The normal person is. But if your immune system is working properly, it surpasses all those. So you stay healthy. And this is the reason why you might see somebody even that does seemingly take care of themselves, or maybe doesn't take care of themselves. And you wonder, well, why does one get sick and why doesn't the other one get sick? You would think it would be the opposite, maybe. Maybe the healthy person gets sick a lot. Maybe the unhealthy person doesn't have as much stress in their life and they don't get sick as often. Well, this would make sense, right? Your immune system is greatly weakened if you're under this amount of stress. And so you're not going to be able to fight off those things that we all have. And so therefore you're going to get sick more often. So he made a really good point when he said, we try to treat the disease, but yet we don't treat the stress. And that's why we keep getting sick. And if you're under a constant level of stress, it's going to take a major toll on your body, and you're actually going to start seeing things shut down. Not only your immune system, but organs and vital things that you need to survive. And that's where these chronic diseases come in. So that was the gist of what he talked about scientifically, and I loved how he explained it in a scientific way. But lastly, he's talked about, there's this scale of growth and protection, and for the growth side, that's the well-being side. That's the living a well-balanced life and just being well, basically. So he said, if you're in protection mode and you kind of decrease the stress, you're almost back at zero. You're really not on the growth side. You really need the love and the joy and the happiness to go into that growth, or that full wellness, I guess you could say, side. So it can't just be the absence of stress, it has to be the joy. And that is so huge, because stress really robs us of joy. And sometimes I know that it seems so heavy, like I have all of this stress and it just weighs. How can I ever really feel joyful? How can I ever feel that happiness and the love even? So that was a really important point that he made. So that begs the question, right? How do we decrease some of the stress in our life if we know the impact that it has on our health? That's just scratching the surface, honestly, it really is. But how do we decrease some of this? And I want to say that everybody has stress. And even if you think you have no stress, maybe you're comparing yourself to somebody that has a lot of stress. And I know sometimes we can do that. We're like, we're not stressed. Look at them. They're like major stress and I'm not that stressed. But really, we all have stress. So don't fool yourself. I think the first part of this is to really realize that you do have stress in your life. you might be blessed with not a lot of stress in your life, and that's great, but yet you have to maybe also think about, if you don't have that much stress, are you going into the joyful side? Do you have that in your life? Do you have the love? All of that. So I want you to think realistically. I think we really have to realize we have an issue that we need to deal with and be intentional about it before we can actually be intentional about it. So let's think about the triggers. I did an in-person class at my house on Saturday. It was really, really impactful. I wish you all could have been there, but I know some of you aren't local or you couldn't come. So we talked a lot at that class about, what are some things during the day that stress you out? And that would be a really great exercise for you to do, is just to write down the top 10 stressors in your day, whether it's, I'm rushing out the door every morning, whether it's this person really is stressing me out, my job is stressing me out, this health condition that I'm dealing with stress me out. I don't know. We all have different stressors. I want you to think about even little things that stress you out, because the thing is, it's compounding. You might not have a huge stressor in your life, like a big health issue or like marital issue or just something at your job, maybe all of those things, but you have little stressors. So just think big and small, because they all add up. But I think that's a really great place to start, because if we know our triggers, that way we can maybe implement some easy fixes. Like, just say you're running out the door every morning and you're stressed because you don't know if you're going to get to work on time. Well, an easy fix to that would be just to get up earlier, right? I'm not trying to be a smart tail, but I'm just saying. Sometimes we need somebody to tell us that, but literally, I needed to tell myself that like a few months or years ago. I would always be like, I wouldn't be late, but I would just be like, get there right by the skin of my teeth kind of thing. When I realized that is not worth my sanity, I'm just going to get up earlier. I'm going to leave earlier so that I don't have to be rushing, because that makes me stressed. So it doesn't have to be something that's mind blowing. It could be something that's little, but yet that is going to take a little bit of stress away from your life and give you back a little bit of joy, right? You can enjoy your time in the car. You can listen to a great music or song or whatever it might be. That is amazing how much joy that can bring back into your life, and it's something very small. So think about the triggers and think about how you can, some of them have easy fixes, but yet I know some will take more time and attention, like maybe you want to have a better relationship with your husband or with your friend, or maybe that's, whatever's causing you stress there. That's going to take more time and attention, and forgiveness maybe. That causes a lot of stress too if we can't forgive. So those are some things that honestly I would encourage you to pray about. That honestly is one of the best ways to relieve stress in our lives, is to pray about things, because God doesn't want us to be stressed about those things. And I'm going to go in. That brings me kind of to my next point of mindset. So if we think we're going to be stressed, we're probably going to be stressed. So I've totally done this myself. I'll be looking at my week on Sunday, and I'll look at, Tuesday, and I'm like, I've got so many things to do. I bet it's going to be a stressful day. And it usually is. So there's a lot of things that our mind just plays tricks with us on. And again, if you go back to what I was talking about, Dr. Lipman said, it's that our mind is what tells our body what to do. So if we're telling ourselves that we're stressed, then our body's going to respond in that appropriate way, because it doesn't know the difference. So if we tell ourselves that we have plenty of time and we're going to get everything done, and we're not, I'm not going to be stressed today because I have plenty of time, we're probably not going to be as stressed. So think about that and see how you could maybe just talk to yourself a little bit differently. I also want to remind you that the Bible says that we should not worry about tomorrow or yesterday, because today has enough problems of its own. So Matthew 6:34 says, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And my goodness, if we could just live by those words. I know it's easier said than done, and I'm still working on this as well, but if you are not present where you are, I honestly feel like that's one of the biggest stressors that you can have, is worrying about tomorrow, or worrying about, if your kids aren't with you, what they're doing, or if they're safe, or, what you're going to have for dinner. I don't know. We're just always worrying about something else. And it's very hard for us to be present, and that causes stress in our life. So this is something that I think we'll always have to be really intentional about, because there's so many distractions. And especially as a wife and a mom, I just feel this, I have a lot of stuff going on, right? We're juggling a lot of balls, but yet if we plan accordingly, we leave the rest up to God. We pray about it. That really can give us back a lot of our joy and decrease our stress. So I want you to think about that as well. Now, in the rest of our time, I'm going to give you a few tools that I really like to use to deal with stress. So I love to take deep breaths when I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling stressed. And you would be so amazed if you really took a minute and just took some super deep breaths and just maybe close your eyes if you could. Just take a time out. You know how we tell our kids they need to take a time out? Well, I'm telling you that you need to take a time out. And I'm telling myself that too, because it's so important, really, to have that quiet time. But just in the midst of your day, if you're feeling stressed, and I know sometimes we can't obviously like have a bunch of quiet time during the day, but yet you can take some deep breaths. I don't care what you're doing. You can be intentional. You can take some deep breaths. So that actually will bring down our blood pressure. Our heart rate will decrease. That our mind will actually begin to comprehend that we're not stressed. We are relaxed. We are present in the moment. All those things will begin to happen when you take deep breaths. It's amazing. I might would add, if you have some essential oils, it's great to breathe those in. And when you're taking the deep breaths, it's also good to pray. So you can do some other things while you're deep breathing. But that's one thing. Obviously, I mentioned planning, but planning really takes away a lot of the stress out of your everyday life. I love to plan on Sunday for the rest of the week. I go through my top 3 to-dos for the week as far as, life, business, family, whatever. I like to go ahead and put those down. I also put things that I need to do that are special for the kids, maybe practices, anything that you want to put on there. It's just great to think about your week and know that, okay, I'm already on top of things, right? I've already got a good grasp on what I need to do to prepare for X, Y, and Z. I also really like to plan out my meals, just really honestly haphazardly. I mean, I'll maybe say chicken on this day, leftovers on this day, and then I'll kind of fill in the gaps. But it just helps me to know, okay, I've kind of got a game plan. So I really love to do that. Another thing is the quiet time. So for me, this is getting up early, and I work from home. I know everybody doesn't, but if you do, end your day a little bit earlier and go have a little bit of quiet time, whatever that looks like, whatever you like. Maybe you just listen to music, maybe you read a book, maybe you just sit there and quiet, I don't know. But end your day with a little bit of quiet before your house gets really busy again with the kids. So I don't always do that, but I really try to do that every day that I can. But definitely get up before your kids and your family get up. That's the biggest thing that I feel has changed how I'm present with my family in the morning. So quiet time is really huge whenever you can fit that in. Soak in the tub. This is my time. I really love to soak in the tub. Hey there. This is my time. So I love it. I add some Epsom salt, some essential oils in there, some baking soda. I just sit in the tub. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I read a book. Sometimes I just sit there, whatever you want to do. This is major stress relief for me. So find what that is for you. I'm just giving you some ideas. And then exercise. Exercise is really big for stress relief. And I know that you've heard this and you might be rolling your eyes like, oh, somebody else is telling me to exercise. You know what? Sometimes the only reason I exercise is for stress relief. It doesn't always have to be to lose weight. I think we have this stigma of, I've got this symptom. Let me be reactive. But hey, let's be preventative. Let's be preventative, maybe to maintain a healthy weight, and preventative for some of the stress that goes on in our life. It doesn't always have to be about I want to look a certain way. It's that I want to feel a certain way. I want to show up a certain way. So exercise is really big. No matter what you do, just go for a walk. Just do a few sit-ups or do a few jumping jacks. I don't know. Make it easy and fun and whatever. But exercise is really, really key. So a few natural tools. I won't let you off the hook without telling you a few of the things that I love to use that really help support my body through day-to-day stressors. So Lifeline Vitality Pack. I don't have any of my props that I normally do, but as far as to show you right now, but you've heard me talk about that. Most of you have anyway. Lifeline Vitality is absolutely key for stress, just because in our day-to-day lives, most of us don't stay at a stress level just 100% of our day, right? Unless we have a super stressful job, I guess. But, we're kind of going in and out of stress. So that makes us fluctuate. The best way I can describe Lifeline Vitality Pack for stress is that it helps your body not fluctuate so much. It's easier to bounce back to that place of peace and well-being and all systems are running smoothly. And it just helps you bounce back quicker. And also it helps to support your body when you are in that stressful time and you are having those extra stress hormones. You're able to adapt better, and they actually have adaptogens in them. So that's one. The other supplement is Magnolia Max, and Magnolia Max is an energy and stamina complex, but it also has adaptogens in it that help your body with stress. So it's kind of, not a lot of people know that, but it's really awesome for stress throughout your day, and it's great for energy, obviously, as it's intended to be used for. Okay, so copaiba is another one that you may have heard me talk about. I actually have some right here on my desk. I use this every single day, and I absolutely did not know that it was an adaptogen. I didn't know that, so I just learned that myself. So when we use copaiba, it actually builds on itself. So it's really great to use copaiba every single day, even if, like, you can use it when you feel stressed, and I was kind of using it like that. Like, oh, I feel stressed, or I'm going to know I'm going into a stressful situation. I would use some under my tongue, or I would take a soft gel. But it's actually really good to take it every day because it does help your body adapt to whatever comes its way every day. So that, I didn't know that either. I was in a class, and this lady that came taught me that. So that's awesome. I mean, I was like, wow, I did not know that. She had done a lot of research on it. Really cool. So take your Lifeline Vitality, take your Magnolia Max, and take your copaiba every day. Those are three things that I will not go without now. Okay, a few other things to use topically. So Magnolia is one of my other favorites to use topically. I love the way it smells. It's very calming. It's got linalool in it, which is the same compound that lavender has in it, but actually has more than lavender. So it's very calming, and I just love the way it smells. I just put some on my wrist, and then I'll inhale, and it just calms me down. Like, the combination between the copaiba and the Magnolia really help with stressful situations. Peace is another one. You can use it the same way on your wrist. It has vetiver in it, so to me, it's really good to help calm your nervous system. You can also diffuse that one because it comes in a bottle like this, so you can diffuse it. So that was another great one to use. And then Intune is actually one that was brought up at the class on Saturday because, you know, when you think about it and you're stressed, a lot of times your mind is going in 100 different directions. And Intune, I have it right here actually because I use it a lot during my day, is a really, really great one for helping you focus. And it has vetiver in it as well, patchouli, which are very calming oils. And so this one can really help you, you know, whatever comes your way, it kind of keeps you on track, and it can help keep your mind present, which again is one of the things that I said helps decrease stress. So that is what I have for you today. I hope that you have a better understanding of that we all have stress, that you're not some weirdo because you feel like you're stressed all the time, or maybe you thought, well, I don't have any stress. Newsflash, we all have stress. So I hope you understand what your body is really going through when you're putting it through stress. Maybe sometimes you can't help the stress. Maybe sometimes you're actually stressing yourself out. And I know that I'm one of those that sometimes do because you just have a lot of thoughts and they just keep you busy. So just realizing the triggers that we can really help prepare ourselves better for those times, and then having the tools on hand that can help our body manage these symptoms. And really, I love talking about this subject because these are things that we all go through, and a lot of times I hear people say, I just can't do anything about my stress, or I'm just stressed and I don't know what to do. Or they just wait until there's a symptom. Like maybe their body's screaming at them, they wait until then. But I want to encourage you to not wait until that time, to really look at it as a preventative way that you can give your body what it needs in the moment, and really return to back to that level and that kind of guiding center point of peace. Because that's the thing, we all have stress, but when we can get back to that center point, that's going to be the key for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts and takeaways. I would love it. I really would honestly love to talk about this more if you guys want me to expound on anything, or if you have any more topics that you'd love around this, just let me know. I'll see you guys later. Hope you have a great day.